The best way to study is to rework problems that what? Yeah, you missed the first time around, so you can try to do them the right way. Does that make sense? So that's why you're not allowed to pick from 5 from up here, because not many of you missed these. You need to pick some of the more challenging ones to practice, okay? All right, I'm going to shut up. We're going to go page by page. Which ones do y'all need me to do off of the front page?
I'm good.
Anybody else? I feel like I need to do number 3 because probably about half of you got B wrong. So can I do number 3? Shania, are y'all good if I do 3, babe?
Yeah.
I'm just saying you because I know you'll answer me. All right, 3. Does anybody need 1 or 2? Or y'all just want to check my work?
No, we good. Well,
Okay.
I'm good. I don't know about them.
Okay. I'm guessing we're okay with 1 and 2. Y'all can just look at mine, but let's look at 3 because I even had some people in class miss this one too. So, all right, first thing you're supposed to do is read the question. So let's go look at the first question, part A. It says, which equation could be used to calculate the bill? And what variable do they say is the bill? Y. So y'all need to know that for tomorrow. The bill is going to be Y. If a person talked, X is the minutes. Are we okay with that? And technically, X is the minutes over 700. So let's go read our problem. A cell phone plan costs. It says costs, so that's talking about the bill or the minutes? The bill. So this 95 has to do with the bill for 700 minutes. Then it says for each minute over 700, the customer is charged an additional 50 cents per minute. This is talking about the minutes. So I'm going to highlight this yellow. So our bill is starting off at $95. Then it says additional. So what are we doing? Adding, good. 50 cents per minute. What variable did they say minutes was? X. So this is going to be 0.50 X. So which equation says Y equals 95 plus 0.50 X? Very good. It is C. It's just in a different order. Well, let's review. Why does the order not matter if we're adding? Commutative. Yes, it's commutative. Good. So adding, you can switch the order. So that's okay. The answer would be C for that part though. So most of you picked C. There were a couple of y'all that keep picking B. It tells you X is the minutes over 700. So because it says that we're only talking about minutes over 700, the equation should not say minus 700. All right, it's already accounted for with the word. So the correct equation is C. Now let's look at B. How much would the bill be if we use 1,200 minutes? Did I give you the X or the Y? Which one? You just said yes. I didn't give you both. Which one did I give you? X. If I gave you minutes, I'm telling you this is the X, right? But we can't just put in 1,200. I think this is where some of y'all messed up. You can't just put in 1,200 because the X is the minutes over 700. So how do I figure out how many minutes over 700 I used? Good. 1,200 minus 700 equals my X. So what should your X be here? There we go. Okay, that took y'all a while. 500? Now is 500 the answer? No, because it's saying how much will the bill be if our X is 500. So what can we do with this 500? Good, go put it in where, Cam? Right there, y'all. 500 is the X, so I can go plug that in for X right here, substitute it in, right? All right, so to find our bill, we're gonna do 95 plus 0.50 times 500. So 0.5 times 500. I'm going to put, actually, I'll do it with you guys, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Do you need this 0 behind the 5 right here? No, very good. So I'm going to get rid of that first so that I make sure I have the right decimal places. Then if you do 500 times 0.5, let's multiply. What's 0 times 5? What's 0 times 5? Sorry, my hand was in the way. What's 5 times 5? 25. And then how many decimal places do I need? Just one. You don't need that 0 behind the 5. So just one decimal. 0.5 of 500 is good. So we're going to do 95 plus 250, which equals how much money? Too much for a phone bill, LOL. $345? People at home, did you guys do that multiplication an easier way? Because there is another way to do it. Besides a calculator. Don't say in the calculator. Anybody?
I did basically the same.
Okay, there's 2 more ways. Do y'all want me to show you the other 2 ways so you can pick the one that works best for you?
Yeah.
All right, so let's think about it. 50 cents is half of a dollar, right? So the other way you could have done this one other way. What's half of 500? 250. So you could have done it that way. The third way you could have done it, you can do it just like this. So I'm going to do this on my whiteboard for y'all. Oh, I didn't bring any extras. Be back in a flash. All right, I got my expos. So 0.50 times 500. Let's look at this together, y'all. What's 5 times 5? 25. I think this is the way Brooke did it. So I took care of the 5s. How many zeros do I have? 3. And then this way, we're talking about money. How many decimal places did I have? 2. So 1, 2. I still got 250. So there's 3 ways you can multiply those 2, okay? Damn, you good? All right. Does anybody need any other problems reworked from the front page, or are you guys good to check my answers for the front?
I'm good to check.
You're good to check? Anybody online? You don't need to tell me if you're good to check. Just speak up if you need me to do any of the ones from number 1 or number 2. All right. So here's my answers for 1 and 2. I'm going to let y'all check. There's number 1. Just a little bit. Yeah. Cam, you checking yours? What's up, bud? Yeah, so can we talk about B real quick, people at home? I'll give you more time to check. I just want everybody to look at B because several of you missed this one. The highlighter shows you what I'm covering. I hate these new bells. They sound terrible.
I put the wrong thing. I put 10 instead of 16.
That's okay. I had a lot of people miss this one, so I want y'all to look. You're supposed to cover your term with the variable. A lot of you guys were moving the 4 first. You can't move the 4 first because the 4 is attached to the A. So do y'all see my highlighter up here? That's where I covered my variable. I was showing you what I covered. So you should cover the A term first. That 4 is touching the A, so that gets covered. You should move the 2 first. So a good way to check yourself tomorrow. Do you guys also notice for every single one of them, I checked my answers? Check your answers tomorrow on your test to make sure you don't make a careless mistake. So I got 16. And do you guys see where I plugged 16 back in? So 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 plus 2 does give me 6. That's how I knew I was right. So if you had checked your answers, you would have caught that that wasn't right. Does anybody need me to show you how to check the inequalities? Because I had a couple of you ask me that. You can do it the same way. You can plug in the answer you get. But there is also another way to do it. Does anybody want me to show them, or you guys are good with just plugging the answer in? You want me to show you? Okay. All right, so are you fine if I use my answer for number 3? Or not 3, C? So for C, we got, let me do it on this side. For C, we got R is greater than -1, right? And my equation, my original equation was 3 times 4R minus 8 greater than -36. All right. So one way you guys could check it is you could plug -1 in. But something that's even better to do to make sure you have the right symbol, to make sure if you flipped it, you did it correctly, pick a number that's bigger than -1, because this says R should be greater, right? All right, so what's a number bigger than -1? Yeah, I chose 0, because 0 is usually easy to plug in and multiply, right? So if we put a 0 in right here, this will be 3 times 4 times 0 minus 8, and we're seeing if that's bigger than -36. So what's 4 times 0? Right? What is 0 minus 8? Good. So that's 3 times -8, because we do parentheses first. And we're trying to see if that's bigger than -36. What does this give you when you multiply? Okay. So people at home, I want y'all to answer this. Is -24 bigger than -36?
Yes.
Yes. So we did it right. That's a really good way to check to make sure your symbol's right. So let me show you with number 4. I'm going to erase this. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. So with not 4, I keep saying numbers. You knew what I meant. With D, I got X greater than or equal to -4, because you had to flip your symbol for this one, if you guys look, because we're dividing by -3. And I wrote on mine, divide by negative, you got to flip. I will take a picture of mine and put it on Canvas for you if you want, okay? Does anybody want that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll put mine on Canvas. So divide by negative, you have to flip your sign. Well, if you didn't flip your sign and you checked using this way I'm showing you now, you would have caught that it was wrong. So let's write down what we got. My original equation was -3 x plus 2 less than or equal to 6. So let me show you what I saw a lot of you guys do. A lot of you did not flip your symbol. So let's check it with the wrong symbol and see what happens, okay? All right, to check this, we need a number less than or equal to -4. So y'all pick a number less than -4. -5, sure. So -3 parentheses, -5 plus 2, because I'm putting it in for X. We're trying to see if that's less than or equal to 6. What's -5 plus 2? -3. So what is -3 times -3? Is 9 less than or equal to 6? So if you checked it this way, you would have caught that you forgot to flip your sign. So now let's check it if we flip the sign and make sure it does work. Because it should be greater than or equal to -4. You should have flipped your sign because we divided by negative. So what's a number that's bigger than -4? 0. We can use 0 again. -3, 0 plus 2. Is that less than or equal to 6? Let's check. What's 0 plus 2, y'all? -3 times 2, less than or equal to 6. What's -3 times 2? -6 is less than or equal to 6. Is that a true statement? I'll make sure they're with me. Is that a true statement? Y'all got to unmute.
Yes.
There we go. I was waiting on somebody. Hey, Kamari. All right, so are we good with A, B, C, D, E, and F? A lot of you guys messed up on your symbol for F. Please pay attention to when there's a negative sign, okay? Are y'all good with A, B, C, D, E, F? People at home, are y'all good with these?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna scroll down so y'all can see my number 2. And while y'all are checking, are you okay if I talk to you? Can we multitask?
Yeah.
Okay. On your test tomorrow, you will also have to turn in the sheet of paper where you showed all your work. All right? So if you don't turn in work for your test tomorrow, you're only getting half the grade of what it says in Canvas. That worksheet is also part of your test grade. I averaged the two. You should have work shown for every problem.
Okay.
That's a way for me to make sure that you guys are showing your work like you're supposed to and doing honest work from home. Okay? And so while I'm talking about honesty, no, you cannot use PhotoMath on your test. Yes, I will notice because PhotoMath does different steps than Ms. Poole does. So don't try to play me. Don't cheat on your test and get a 0. You can use your notes. I'm letting you use your notes, which means you can use the study guide, okay? But when you open the Canvas test, don't open a bunch of other tabs at the top because I have it set on a lockdown browser. So it's gonna notify me if you open other tabs. Do we understand that?
Yes.
All right, so make sure you can use your notes, you can use your study guide, but you cannot use PhotoMath. I will know, trust me. I catch kids every year and they're like, I swear I did it. I'm like, oh really? And then I pull it up on my phone and it says the same thing. I'm like, and don't open other tabs because it's gonna notify me, okay? I'm a very smart lady, I'm not that old. So I know all the new technology that y'all be using. I don't know. All right, are y'all good with number 2?
Yes.
Okay, I will remind you again at the end about what you can and can't use on the test. So let's flip to the middle sheet. Numbers 4 through 7. I know I need to do number 7 because a bunch of you missed 7. And I think I need to do number 4 because a lot of you missed 4. So I'll do 4 and I'll do 7. Does anybody need 5 or 6?
No.
No?
No. I'm tired.
I can tell. At least you ain't got kids in the background today.
They still here.
Oh, they just quiet today.
Nah, they not in my room. They downstairs.
Amari's door is broken, so he can't even lock his siblings out of his room. It's a hard not life. All right, let's look at 4 because nobody said any other ones. Y'all are good if I do 4 and 7 and then you check the other 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lobster, what, oops, stop. What am I supposed to read first? Not the direction. Well, there ain't no directions. What are you supposed to read first with the word problem? The question. Very good, extra credit. The question. So stop, go read this first. Write an equation that models the weight W. So my equation should say what? What should my equation start off with if it's supposed to model the weight W? Very good. W equals. All right, then I'm going to keep reading the question. It says X is the weeks. Do we understand? And then this part right here is just saying that X, whenever we solve, we should get something smaller than 8. This does not go in your equation because this says X weeks. So are we going to know how old the lobster is?
No.
No, you're not, because Cam, read the next part. How many weeks old is the lobster? So we don't know this part. So guys, this less than or equal to 8, that's extra information. Now it does help you if you know what it means. It means your answer should be less than 8, okay? So that'll help you. If you get something bigger than 8 down here, you know you did it wrong. But this does not go in your equation. Do we understand that?
Mm-hmm.
This is where y'all will mess up tomorrow. I'm telling you, every year half my kids miss this one because y'all try to put the 8 in the equation. You don't know how old the lobster is. This is just telling you it should be less than 8. It's telling you after 8 weeks, they didn't measure the lobster anymore, probably because they ate him. Lobster is yummy. All right, so write an equation that models the weight. W equals, we got that, X weeks after it's born. So let's go read the information now. A lobster weighed 12 ounces when it was born. Do y'all agree that's the weight?
Wait for the truck.
So 12. Now let's keep reading. The lobster gained. If it is gaining, what are we doing?
Adding.
Adding. Very good. So we're adding, and then do you guys see how it says for each week? What do we put in for weeks? What's the variable for weeks?
X.
Very good. So this is my rate of change. We're adding 4 each week. That's my rate of change. My base weight that he starts off with when he's born is 12. So you should have W equals 12 plus 4X. Questions on that part? Making sure all my kiddos are still up here. They are. Y'all are good with that part?
Yes.
All right, so now this next part. If the lobster weighs 32 ounces, what variable did I just give you? W or X?
X.
Are you sure?
Hmm.
Which one's the weight? Read the problem. Equation that models the weight is,
W.
so I gave you the weight, which means I gave you W is 32. So what can I go do with that to find how old he is, to find the X? What can I do with this? Plug it in where, Brooke? Ooh, right there? So you guys should have said 32 equals, plug it in right here, 12 plus 4X. And then you should solve that equation. So I'm going to cover my X. What do I do with the 12? Subtract it. Cam, you better wake up. If you don't get an A tomorrow, I'm going to call your mama and be like, yeah, he was slumped when I was going over it. 20 equals 4X. How do I get X by itself? Good. Divide the 4. And guys, what's 20 divided by 4? So we got that he's 5 weeks old. Does that answer make sense? Why? Ooh, they beat you. That's because you over here slump. Because it's less than 8. Does that make sense? Now, tomorrow, you really want to know that you got it right? How can we check this? What with the 5? We know 5 is less than or equal to 8. I'm talking about how could you check to make sure 5 is right? Okay, Cam says we can put 5 in for X to check it. So let's check it. If I do 12 plus 4 times 5, do I end up equaling 32? What's 4 times 5? What's 12 plus 20? 32, so it does work. Look at my girls getting extra credit. Are y'all okay with number 4 now? Did I help you figure out what you're supposed to set up?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so let's look at 7, and then I'll let y'all check my 5 and 6. 7's just tricky because of the way it's worded. So let me get my highlighter. Area A equals, what does this word product mean? Multiply. Ah, product means multiply. And it tells you to multiply pi, which is that symbol, and radius squared, which is this symbol. So how can we write that equation, y'all? Not y equals, yeah, how do I write that equation? A equals pi times r squared, because it's the product of pi and r squared. You had plus. There were a lot of y'all that put plus. It's okay. Product means you're multiplying. So now you've got it set up. What do they ask us to do next? Rewrite in terms of pi. All that means, y'all, is they want it to say pi equals. If I tell you to rewrite it in terms of something, I'm telling you to get that thing by itself and say that equals. Okay? So how do I get pi by itself? How do I solve this for pi? It's the first thing you should do. Cover up pi, so I'm not touching that part I just highlighted. Good, so I need to move the r squared is what my girls in class are saying. What's the opposite of multiplying, my online people? You are not online.
Divide.
There we go. Divide by r squared. How come you want to participate when it's not your turn? I just like playing him. All right, divide the r squared is pi by itself. Yes, so we got pi in terms of a divided by r squared. Pi equals a over r squared. That's your answer. No, I didn't ask you to solve for r. Did y'all hear her? Because that was a really good question. You don't have to square root the r. I didn't ask you to solve for r. What did I want you to solve for? Pi, which means you get pi by itself. So if the r squared is being multiplied, you just divide the r squared. Okay, very good question. Do we feel better about 7?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all check my 5 and 6. So here is number 5. And again, make sure you're writing down these right answers on yours, or you go look at it later and get them written down so that you can use it on your test tomorrow. Tomorrow during your test, everything in the module will be closed. You cannot get to it. So that's why I'm saying make sure you have your stuff written in your notebook, okay? I'll leave it open all night, but I'm closing it tomorrow morning. Yes, ma'am. Good. Did y'all hear her question? She's so quiet. Respectively just means in order. So I want Bob's payment, then Joe's payment. Yep. Because a couple of you did pick B. If it says respectively, it means in order. Very good. Now you got even more extra credit points. If you hopped on the Zoom late, make sure you hang back so I can tell you how many extra credit points you have, okay? Are we good with 5? Y'all are okay? Y'all got it right. Does anybody online need more time to get number 5? No? Okay. Here is 6. So again, the highlighter shows what I covered up. So I covered up, because we're solving for m, I covered up the m and the x first, added the 5, and then when I cover the m down here, we divide the x. You guys are good with this one? Good, Cam? All right, are we good with 6?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna move it. If you need it, speak up, I'll put it back. Okay, let's look at the back page. Which ones do y'all need me to do? I feel like I might need to do 11. 11B is what I said y'all all needed, right? Okay. You got it because I helped you yesterday. I'm gonna do 11. Does anybody need any other ones that's at home? Does anybody need 8, 9, 10, 12, or 13? Do y'all need 8, 9, 10, 12, 13? No? Cam, get your review back out.
Can you do 8?
I sure can. 8 and 11. Any other ones? All right, I'm gonna start off with 8. So area of a triangle can be determined, using this formula. So I'm going to copy this formula down because this is what we're going to use. A equals HB divided by 2. You don't have to remember it right now. You'll have to remember it when we get to unit 4 because we'll be using it. H is the height, B is the base. You guys know that from middle school, I think. What is the result of solving for H? So guys, if I want to solve for H, what do I do to H? Cover it. So do you guys notice how the H is in the numerator? It's in the top. That means the first thing you're going to do is cover the top. So what do I need to move first? The 2. It's dividing. So what's the opposite of dividing by 2? Good. So the first thing you should have done is multiply the 2 to the other side. So now I have 2 times A equals HB. And one more time, what are we trying to get by itself? The H. So I'm going to cover up the H. What do I need to move on this side of the wall? How do you move the B if they're touching? Good. Yes, ma'am. Divide by B. So you should get H equals 2 times A divided by B. And on my paper, I just wrote 2A over B. Does that help, Ashley?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime. That's what I'm here for. I'm like y'all's math servant. I'll do whatever problems you need. All right, 11. Use the following function to find the corresponding values. Let's look at this because I've got a lot of y'all missing this, which tells me either we don't understand it and we need to ask questions, or we didn't watch the video all the way through. F of -8. Do you see how the -8 is in the parentheses? Can you say that again? Okay, if it's in the parentheses, it is the input. Go look at this. The X is in the parentheses, so that means the -8 is my X. So instead of an X here, what am I going to input? Good, -8. So this will be 1/4. Instead of an X, I'm inputting -8 plus 5. All right, and then I think this is also where we're messing up. When you guys multiply this, you don't multiply the 8 by the 4. When you multiply fractions, you do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So what's 1 times -8? What's 4 times 1? So over 4 plus 5. What's -8 over 4? -2 plus 5 equals 3. There we go. So the answer for A was 3. Y'all okay with that? Yeah, the B part is tricky. So I want you guys to look at B. I'm asking you to find X. A lot of you messed up on this one because y'all went and put 3 in for the X. I'm telling you to find the X. 3 is not the X. I'm saying, what is X? So look at what I did give you. I told you the whole thing, F of X, this whole equation should equal what? 3. There's one just like this on your test tomorrow. I didn't give you the X. I gave you what the equation F of X should equal. So we can solve this. If I put 1/4 X plus 5, the whole thing should equal 3. I'm trying to find X. Did I lose anybody or we're okay? We understand the difference. Does that make sense to y'all? Cam, you good? All right. So cover up X. We should subtract the 5 on both sides. -5, -5. So I've got 1/4 X equals, what's 3 take away 5? -2, good. All right, and then how do we get rid of this 1/4 that's touching the X? Divide it, good. But here's where we have a problem. I'm gonna come up here because I ran out of room. X equals -2 divided by 1/4. Can we divide by a fraction? This is like the third or fourth time we're having this conversation. I cannot take 2 markers and put them into a quarter of a group. That makes no sense, correct? So instead of dividing by a fraction, what can I do? Multiply by there we go. Good job, Shania. Extra credit, baby. Moving on up. Multiply by the flip of 1/4. So if I flip the 1 and the 4, that's 4/1. What's -2 times 4? -8 divided by 1 is just going to give me -8. That is the X value that I wanted you to find. Yes. Yep. Does that make sense for B? Because a lot of you did miss B. It was different. We didn't have one like that in the notes. I wanted you to try it though, because y'all are the high kids. So remember, I treat you like an honors class. We're good with B?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are y'all good to check my 9, 10, 12, and 13?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's check them. There's 9 and 10. Get it where y'all can see it better. And then I did try to put explanations, and I color coded and highlighted and stuff to help y'all study. I think most of you got 10 right from what I remember seeing, so that was good. Are you guys good with 9 and 10? You better get an A tomorrow. You looking this board.
I will.
You better. Are you guys good with 9 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll. Is that okay? Remember, if not, I'm gonna put this on Canvas too.
Okay.
The test is 22 questions. I'm gonna talk about that at the end though. See how I have on the agenda test questions at the end? You can't see that far, can you? I did put an extra one in here just for you to try if you wanted, but f of -1, when you go find the output, the y value, it's -2. And then I did put for the bottom part, I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit so y'all can see. I did put explanations. I almost said exclamations. Right.
So it can have the same number as long as one is positive and one is a negative.
Right, because those aren't the same. -2 is not the same as +2. Yep, very good question, Jordan. These did not say to explain, but I just explained it for y'all to help you study, okay? All right, are y'all ready for me to talk about the test? Can I talk about your test tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try to go in order. Remember, my study guide will be on Canvas for you to check yours and you can copy down the right answers. So first things first, you do have homework tonight. You are gonna pick 5 problems off your review that you either struggled with the first time or you missed the first time around, and you're gonna rework them in your notebook or on paper and take a picture of that work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It can be the same, like it can be the same numbers. I mean, it's going to have to be the same numbers, but you're picking 5 problems off of there. Now, do not turn in your study guide. That is a 0 because that does not show me that you reworked them. I want it on notebook paper or in your notebook, okay? All right, so that's your homework. Let's talk about the test. It is 22 questions. You have 75 minutes because that's how long class is. After 75 minutes, it will shut off. So you better be done in 75 minutes. You should be, okay? Because most of you finish this review in an hour. So you should be. It looks just like the review. Your test is in Canvas. I put it on a lockdown browser. So if you start opening a bunch of tabs on your computer, it's going to send me an email saying you were opening other things. That is called cheating. That is a 0. Please don't try it. Okay? Yes, I need a yes. So I know y'all heard me and understood.
Yes.
Okay, good. Don't use PhotoMath. I'll be able to tell, and this is how I'll be able to tell. What do you also have to turn in along with your test? Your work.
Homework.
Good. And please do me a favor, y'all. Some of y'all be turning in homework where the problems aren't numbered. That is very hard to grade. Number your problems, make sure your work is neat. That's to help you too, because if you finish the test early in Canvas, should you submit it early? No. What should you go back and do? Y'all, I'm gonna throw this marker at him. Good. If you finish early, don't hit submit. Go back and check over your answers on your paper and maybe plug in what you got to make sure it works. Okay? So you're gonna show your work on a separate sheet of paper and turn that in. You know what your homework is tonight. What are you allowed to use on your test tomorrow? Your notes and
Notes.
Good. You're
Very
so
good.
very good. Do y'all have any questions for me about the test? Some of it is multiple choice, others you have to type in the answer. It's 22 questions. I feel like I answered everything.